at SRL 360 headquarters, and I am here joined by Lachlan Martin and Joshua Butterfield. How are you, Blues?
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Yeah, I'm doing good, mate. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, eh? Today we're going to be talking about a bit of some stuff that's been going on in the SRL. Sorry we haven't been on for the last few weeks, but Origin, while we haven't been on, Origin's been going on. So, in the first games, Queensland won. It was a pretty good match, eh? Queensland took it.
Yeah, it
Yeah, it
was.
was. Oh, sorry, you go on.
No. You started.
Yeah, it was a pretty good match. I thought that Queensland probably had the upper hand. I thought were probably very dominant in the game. I don't think it was too big of a game, but like much difference between them and New South Wales. Sorry, but I think that they just won those big moments in that first game, and that's what got them over the line.
Yeah, it did. Butters, what are you going to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the kicking game from Queensland was a little better than New South Wales. The fifth play options were slightly better, and I think they won it probably. Oh, I think they just won the bigger moments and finished their sets better.
Yeah. I mean, the big difference for me was Isaac Edwards kicking in the first game was tremendous. He kicked 40-20 from left, right, and centre, and he's just
Yeah,
shown that he's a class half. And that's what this series really shown me. By the end of it, Isaac, and I knew it as a South player. Isaac Edwards is a class half, and I think it just shown the rest of the SRL that, and yeah. So on to game two, we had the New South Wales did take the leap and got game two here. What were our thoughts on this one?
uh, yeah. I think New South Wales really showed Queensland up. I think Queensland were expecting a bit of an easy game, and New South Wales just were able to get out there. Um, I think Crutch's kicking game was a little better. I think he played um, got better ball and was in a better position to um, get his team into winning positions.
What I'll say is about game two is that I thought that New South Wales I thought the first half actually went very similar to game one. Queens are up 12-4. They were well and truly on top, but a little bit of a moment to begin the second half. I think it was Ash Crutcher breaking. No, it was whatever. There was a try not long after half time. Can't exactly remember what try it was. But I think Queensland sort of put their heads down and sort of lost their momentum, and after that they struggled to really gain it back.
Hmm. I do also think that once New South Wales were ahead, Queensland kind of dozed off a little bit because they were like, yeah, even if we lose this one, I'm not saying it was a conscious act, but I do think they
They're
might
already
have,
preparing for game three. In other words,
yeah,
their
they
minds are
were,
already in game three.
yeah, they were already thinking about the next game rather than trying to win probably a game that they could have won.
To me, they were just really tired. They just got really tired midway through the game. Once New South Wales got ahead, they were just too tired, and
What else? What else? Oh, sorry, you on, Liam?
they were just really tired, and it really shown there. Like they just kept on making breaks. New South Wales just kept on making breaks, and they just made some very lazy acts. And I think it shown how tired they were.
Yeah,
Yeah, look, I actually think I think the big difference was that I think they actually really missed Liam Ryan at fullback. Obviously, you'll hear Liam, but I think in that first game he really got their set up to a good start, and it meant that some of the other guys that usually weren't really doing that had to do that in game two, and they were pretty tired by the end, which caused them it sort of lack in defense.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, so New South Wales leveled the series. I thought some of those big performances from New South Wales again though. Rahul Kawal in the first two games was well in the whole series was awesome, but he really stepped up again this game, and Ash Crutcher stepped up with his running game. He did it to perfection. Jack O'Neill actually gave him the ball in this game, shared it around instead of just passing it, running himself and trying to take everything on himself, which was really good to see. I think that really helped them win. Yeah, but it was a great game in Game 2 for New South Wales. And we went on to Game 3, where we saw Queensland win. We saw Queensland eventually as the winners of this series. And what were our thoughts on Game 3?
Yeah, really heartbreaking as a New South Wales fan myself. Obviously I came off the bench in this game. I think I really don't know what to pinpoint a loss in this one. I think the game was really tight, and I think it wasn't necessarily. Again, I think this game was a lot tighter than game 1, and obviously a lot tighter than game 2. I think it was simply that loss of concentration when Kelly broke through at the side of the game into that split second of loss of concentration, and Joey Kelly broke our hearts. That's the entire moment. I think some just lost us the game. That one slip of concentration, and it's heartbreaking. But what can you do?
For sure. Butters, what are your thoughts on this game? Yeah,
I do think the forward pack on the Maroon side was a little bit in better shape. They just ran more meters, and I think that was off of better ball from their halves, and just again Isaac Edwards and Carl Lewis had a great game. He kicked, I think it was like 200, 300 meters. He had a great game. Really stood up in that number 6 role. And yeah, I think that's what was really the difference in that game.
Yeah, I think that Isaac Edwards probably was close to player of the series. He played that good.
Yeah.
I think he
I'm just having a look
was.
at it now. 400 kick meters in this third game. Hold on.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
another 200. Oh, sorry, 300 in the second game. So he really just stood up in the third game. After, I don't know what his mindset was going into the third game, but he just went on to another level.
It was outstanding to see from a South Sydney team, mate. I mean, he's just gotten better and better every game, and I think it's just showing that he's gonna. I'm hoping he stays loyal to the club, because obviously we know that a lot of teams I think are gonna want him come re-signing time and the signing period.
Yeah,
He's playing that well.
He'll definitely be a big play to watch in the off season. See what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed at South Sydney. I think they've got a really good culture that's kind of brewing down there, and he has a great relationship with his partner in crime, Ash Crutcher. So I would be a little surprised if he will leave.
Yeah, I think he would. He would. He's probably. It's probably going to be most likely to stay. But another great performer is the Canberra captain, Rahul Kawal. He's standing up in Origin. Will he take his game back to club level and lead the Raiders to the finals series? Do you reckon, please?
It's kind of hard to. Oh, sorry to cut you off here, Butter, but it's kind of hard to sort of judge how good he's going to go, considering he switched the centre this round. We'll talk a bit more about that later, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see him in centre this round, especially since he's probably the best second rower in the game right now. He's still up in Origin, and then they just go tick, and then he, for whatever reason, has put himself in centres.
He's an unselfish player, I'll say that.
It's very unselfish, but I also think that sometimes being selfish is better if it's better for the team anyway. But yeah, that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a shock when saw that. Was it Cherry Evans that went onto the bench?
I think No, it was. Are you talking about the Raiders?
No, I'm talking about
Origin?
Queensland
Yeah,
Origin.
it was Cherry Evans. Yeah, you're
Yeah, I
right.
was a little surprised by that. But yeah, Rahul played well.
You know, Rahul plays for New South Wales.
Does it? Fuck. I mean, yeah, I did. Thought it was, that's my bad on my part. I got him mixed up with someone else.
What, his
Yeah,
brother?
I think I get him mixed up with his brother, who played
His
second
brother.
row off the bench in game
Yes,
two.
I think I did. Hold on.
I
Yeah,
think it was
because
a
I
mismanagement of his brother, if I'm being honest. In game two, the one game you played,
yeah
they tried to play him in second row. That's clearly not his position.
yeah
It was really a mismanagement, and I think the it's got to be better for using him as a half if they're ever going to use him. I think he was probably better off if they just gave him experience in the squad rather than playing him at second row. But yeah, they brought in Cherry Evans at second row, which I still think was very questionable. I think they got away with it. Queensland
Look,
got they got away.
sorry,
Remember the kick? You do remember that kick where Justin Players got a ball that in a similar spot to Cherry Evans where he kicked those 40-20s. He went for a 40-20s and it went off the boot and he went straight into the out on the full. That's a key moment. If Queensland lose that game, I think we could be sitting here saying, "Wow, why the hell was Cherry Evans not picked in his spot?"
yeah, but the thing is, you got to point out though is all of his mistakes about it, then they did win. Can't be too critical. They did win, and I think just at the moment, Queensland are on another level than New South Wales. Because personally, I don't know what else we change in that. I don't know what else we change.
It's honestly a very like New South State of Origin as it is in real life. I mean,
I
you
wouldn't say
think
it's like
you
that.
know,
I mean,
you think that the bigger names are on on the New South Wales side, but when you actually when they play, it's the Queensland as the
this
underdogs,
is
and they still
this is
stand
my
up.
this is just my opinion. I think rating wise, we have the better ratings, but I think that I think when you look at
Sorry, is that just me or is
some surprising selections to say the least, and they still ended up winning.
yeah.
you?
I now as a Manly player, after watching Origin, I've really got to think if it was the right choice to pick so many of the Manly players. I understand synergy and that they were playing well, but and don't get me wrong, every player that was picked in the New South Wales team was playing well at club level.
Yeah, this
But
is sorry,
I,
go on.
I think it's also easy to look at a team that's going well and be able to pick players from pick a lot of players from that team, where there are other players who might not be doing as well in their team, but overall could have fit that New South Wales structure better.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
Yeah, look,
very
and and
fair. You're
this
very
is just
it,
my opinion, but I think that the Blues, we sort of kept going towards one side, and Quincy just kept shutting it down.
you kept
Like you look at it, I think the
yeah
side we kept going was Jack O'Neill, Isaac Simons, Caval, Chapman Kenny.
the
Simons,
only
I thought Simons had a pretty decent series considering he's playing in centres. Caval obviously was amazing. Jack O'Neill was quiet. Kane Chapman Kenny got shut down way too easily.
yeah
That's where our problem was, and I think we should have maybe tried to switch up a bit, go to the other side sometimes a bit more. When we did go to the other side, Ash Crutcher managed to do some good things. He just didn't get much ball.
no
I don't know why
Maybe
they just kept going away from him. Like he was so good whenever he got the ball. They just never gave him the ball. And I know this is actually a bold thing to say, but I think Tyrone Clay was the better winger. I think
yeah,
whenever
I
you're
actually agree with you there. Whenever he seemed to be able to break the line more when he got the ball, he just never got any ball. Simple as that. Same with Morrison. Morrison didn't get much ball, but when he did get the ball, he looked decent.
it's just I mean Simons at least did well, but like Chapman Kenny was just shut down way too easily until the very last 2 carries of his Origin series.
Here's the question though I have: which player should have been switching the ball to Ash's side instead? Is it goes to the dummy half, or is that more a thing where maybe? And I hate to call him this player because he's a terrific player and he had a really good series still. But is that more a Dingo fault? Dingo sort of switches sides. Should he have been more trying to switch the ball over the Ash's side when he was playing?
Should Dingo's been sitting on Ash's side more? Maybe.
Maybe instead of again, Dingo had a terrific series, but should he have more instead of kept going towards Jack O'Neill's side? Should he have been sort of trying to swing the play towards Ash's side? It's an interesting one.
I think a little bit, and I love Ash Kutcher. I think he's a great young player. I think he's going to be top 3, top 4 halves in the next couple of seasons. But I think he just I couldn't see a lot of confidence in that Blues jersey from him, and I think he needed to probably call for it harder and really want the ball, go seeking for the ball, rather than just letting Dingo and.
I do agree with you. I think partially it is probably because Ash maybe wasn't calling for it enough. Partially, I think that could be it. And maybe I think that had he have got the ball more though, his confidence would have risen.
Yeah, I do think it's also the first game didn't do him a lot.
Yeah, I believe he threw the end for that try, which is pretty tough.
Well, not just that.
It was Jack O'Neill.
Was it Jack O'Neill? I thought it was Ash. I could be wrong. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
I don't remember, but I believe it was Jack O'Neill.
Oh, maybe it was Jack O'Neill then.
It's also because he was taken off around half time.
Yeah, that would have his confidence.
Oh, I just don't agree with it.
Especially for half. You don't bring debut half off.
I understand their thought process. They wanted to get Kennedy on, which I agree he's a terrific player. Personally, I would have liked to see him going to centers.
Yeah, that I actually don't mind that.
Maybe take Kane Chapman Kenny off.
Or even take Kane Chapman Kenny off and chuck him on the wing. We see how dangerous he is for Penrith. He scored 4 out of 5 of that tries. He could break the line with ease.
I don't think Wing would be.
But you've never seen him on the wing.
Imagine him on the kick returns. He's amazing kick returning. He scored, I think, 2 90-meter tries last year alone from just catching it and running as hard as possible and, just finding space.
I mean, it's not the worst idea. And for how quiet Kane Chapman Kenny was in that 3-game series, I don't know why they didn't try it.
Well, Kane.
It's definitely an interesting one. Actually, what's fullback's main? Is Kennedy's main position's fullback center wing or is it fullback center 5'8"?
It's fullback center 5'8", but it doesn't
5'8",
matter.
okay.
It doesn't matter. You can play anywhere off the bench.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking maybe if it was wing, why not start him on the wing? But it's not wing.
Yeah, if they wanted to start him at center, they could do it though.
I would have liked to see him start in the centers. I'm not sure who over because I think both Morrison and again, this isn't a thing where I think Morrison and Simons didn't play good in the series. I actually think they'll probably, considering they're in the centers, I think they'll outperform both the other 2 centers they versed in all games.
Zach Smith had some really crucial moments. I'll give him that.
Yeah, maybe not Zach Smith, but I think, especially in game 2, they definitely actually were really solid.
Yeah.
Game 2, I agree with you. They were really, really good.
Actually, there is something I will correct myself here. I've just been reminded that they did swap sides in game 2 and 3.
Who did swap sides?
Kane, Chapman Kenny, and Clay swapped sides in game 2 and 3. So I think in game 1, actually, Clay was on the Morrison side. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, Chapman, because Chapman's in chat right now.
Yeah.
Clay was on the Morrison side to Jack O'Neill's side in game 1, and then they switched KCK in game 2 and 3 to the other side.
So KCK
Clay was better over the 3 games. I do agree with that. Sorry, I was just reading chat. And I just reminded that they did swap sides at one point. So yeah,
did swap sides.
As much as I love Kane, I think he's an amazing player and an amazing leader of Manly. I don't know what happened when he put on the Blues jersey, but he just didn't.
Is it a thing that he struggles to get? Look, it's been talked about like IRL like recently with real state of origin, but it's a thing where he maybe like struggles to. Is it that he maybe struggles to off the back foot coming out their own end?
Look, it's.
Is that a possibility? Is that what it is?
I think he feels he's more affected by pressure because he feels as one of the leaders of both Manly and he would in the Blues he would be talking to all the younger players, all the debutants because he's a veteran player. I think he feels the pressure, and that might have gotten to him too easily. Too easily in the Origin. So
Yeah.
Because
but like even I look at like this is, and again I don't. All right, this is just my thing is Baby just struggles when teams aren't like he struggles when his team doesn't have the momentum.
When the so what you're saying is when his forward pack doesn't get on the front foot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, all right.
Like the reason I'm saying this is look at last season. He was pretty quiet for the first 5 rounds, and then Manly started taking off. Chapman Kenny started playing better. The Blues didn't have the best series. Chapman Kenny didn't either.
Yeah,
that is fair.
That's just my point. I know he's in chat right now. I'm not trying to like bash on anyone here. I'm just bringing up my point.
You bring up a good point. I mean, the forward pack wasn't on as much front foot as Manly's is. I mean, the Manly forward pack or this could also be Kane Chapman Kenny when he starting was that the reason the forward pack was so quiet? I mean, you can go both ways. I mean,
yeah, that's true too. Maybe Chapman gets them off to the front foot, then the forward can get on more of a roll. That's another thing.
That is true, and so it kind of is a bit of a both way thing. Look at how you think of it, but Kane's also was still. It's just like it's basically means the same thing, apart from like he was still quiet, so it doesn't change too much, really. But
yeah. Also, we're quite a bit into this, so should we move on from State of Origin now?
Yeah, I was about to say that. Let's move on from State of Origin. Let's move on from it.
All right, should we?
Fair play to Queensland. Let's move on to the. We will move on to the news in the SRO. We've got some news. From
breaking news.
Yeah, it's been some breaking news. We've got some breaking news from the Eel that's been leaked in the Eels chat that that Eli Barnes wants out. Well, he wanted out. There was a trade that didn't end up happening. That Eli Barnes was set to go to Canberra for Mark Iron, but apparently Eli Barnes pulled out.
That would have been a big play for Canberra.
That would have been an interesting play. It would have been very interesting.
I think Mark's been a little quiet these opening rounds. I don't think he's a terrible player, but getting Eli Barnes to a team that's really lacking the fullback power, that would have been big for Canberra. They would have been pushing at the top threes.
It comes after. I want to point out too. Obviously, we'll go more in depth at this later. He's also been named in the centers. Just after he stepped down from captain for Luke Short.
The reason which we can touch on this now.
What came first though? Did Eli want to leave first, or did he step? Or did Eli want to leave first, so he stepped down as captain, or did he step down in quote marks as captain, which caused him to want to get out?
Well, the thing is though, he can't. The reason he would have stepped down is because he wanted to ask Luke Short if he could be traded out from to Canberra and be like, well, Luke Short, can I get out and go to Canberra mid-season for Mark Iron? Because that's not reportedly how the SRO we think would it work is if if a captain wants out, they have to step down, and then the new captain, has to say yes to that, because
Yeah, that's how I would think it would work.
you can't just leave your club when the captain can't leave his club unless the new captain would agree.
We have more breaking news. More breaking news.
What is it?
Mark Iron has actually just said that he's open negotiation and there's no chance of him staying at Canberra.
Whoa.
Oh,
That is big.
Wow.
He's just said this in SRL chat. That's big.
Yeah.
Like, he's no
That's
chance
big.
of staying in Canberra in.
That's big, and we know that he was the original player touted as the player to trade with Barnes.
Do you mean in season 3 or season 4?
He hasn't stated.
Okay, so it could be either. I mean, I don't think that's really.
I don't think it's viable for him to leave at this stage unless they can get a fullback.
When does the trade window end?
Round 5. End of round 5.
Round 5. Look, unless he can somehow manage to fit his way into one of the top 3 teams, I don't think it's a smart move for him this season. Just purely based off of how well.
Unless he's planning to go there just so he can sort of fit in before season 4. But even what teams okay? So if we have Mark and Eli leave, we all can agree here that Mark Iron for Eli Barnes is not a fair trade, right?
It's not. Yes, we can all agree.
It's not a fair trade.
I love you, Mark.
So what club would want to get Mark Iron, and what club would get Eli Barnes? So if Mark Iron leaves and Eli Barnes goes, right? Where does Mark Iron go? Does that just force deals to sign Mark Iron, or is there another club that we could see getting him?
No. So what would happen is, I don't think Eli Barnes is going to leave. Eli Barnes,
why has he been named to the centres then?
We are assuming that Eli Barnes will leave in season 4. We don't think this is going to happen.
You know that at some point in time he intends to go to Canberra.
At some point, but it won't happen in season 3. It's happening in
I'm saying, no, that's what I'm saying. In season 4. In season 4. I should clarify, I was talking about season 4. What club would take Eli? Is it going to be Canberra or do they? Because I think Canberra's salary cap might be a bit tight to take him. Personally,
Canberra are very, very tight at this point, and we don't know if they can fit him in. I mean, they will. Who would they get rid of to let him go? I mean, if we're being realistic, they would have to get rid of. I would think they'd have to get rid of a really good player. I think they may have to get rid of a Taranhi Fehu. They may have to get rid of a Luke Malchus. But in fairness, Luke Malchus hasn't been the greatest for Canberra this season. But
I would agree with you with that. I think that. Look, I think a club that should really look at both these players are the Broncos. Who's their fullback at the moment?
Sam Herban.
Sam Herban. He's been pretty quiet this season.
Sam Herban has, but he hasn't had it. But this is the issue. You look at their forward pack. A lot of fullbacks rely on a good forward pack. I mean,
that's true.
I can't say a fullback in the SRL that doesn't require apart from maybe Brodie Kennedy. There's literally no one in the SRL that I could say goes well without maybe Chaz Dingo. Chaz Dingo has a pretty dominant pack. It's very interesting.
Here's the thing, right? Both Mark Iron and Eli Barnes can switch to 5'8". Do we see that as an option for them in the future?
I would actually. We'll touch on it more when we get to the team list. But I would personally have moved Eli this round to 5'8" and not moved him to the centres. I think he would be better 5'8". And try him out there.
Yeah, he would be a very good running 5'8". He would be getting the ball a lot more.
The quick 5'8s are so good. Like, you look at the players who are basically fullbacks at 5'8". I mean, there's a few, and they're pretty good.
I think that I wouldn't mind to see have a go at 5'8". We saw how good yourself can be, Liam, with the speed. If they get into space, how damaging you could be at 5'8". I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, you just need those ball players to get you into space. Like, you just need someone to ball play and then get the 5'8" into some space. We see it quite often through quick hands. So
this is. I think it could be like an Ash Crutcher. I think Ash Crutcher is like a player that sort of doesn't do necessarily as much kicking, but he can just find the gaps. He just finds the space.
Ash Crutcher is a perfect complement for Isaac Edwards because Isaac Edwards does the
kicking.
But he can also run. I mean, they both do very similar.
I guess that's a pretty bad example. You get my point. Yeah. Alongside a dominant half, Eli Barnes could be an absolute elite 5'8". Same with Mark Iron.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure about Marco. I don't think he would be good. He's an above average player, but I don't think he's at the elite status.
But who knows? I mean, he's a quick player. Well, is he actually? Is he that quick? Is Mark Iron as quick as some of the quicker fullbacks? I don't actually know how quick he is. Can anyone pull that up or?
I'll quickly check for us.
Let's check at Mark Iron. I know Eli Barnes is very close to 99 speed, so it would be. So he'd be a
It's
very.
something. Let me find. Oh, player overalls. Here it is. It's. I think that. Again, I just gotta be. Personally, I'd love to see Eli get a shot at the 5'8" role.
Yeah.
Even full time for a club for a season.
Yeah, for sure.
So his speed is an 84.
All right, 84. What's
Isn't that bad?
Yeah, which isn't that bad. I
I'm
mean,
pretty sure Eli Barnes is max.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I think he's 99. To be honest, I think he is. It's pretty close if it's not. Yeah, but let's have a chat on who would. I think let's have a chat on the fullback. Say if a club wanted if a club was gonna fit in Mark Iron or Eli Barnes, especially Mark Iron, who would fit for next season? Who would fit in Mark Iron? Who would want to play him fullback?
This is the thing, right? I don't know where Eli Barnes and Mark Iron fit in a fullback, unless because we'll talk about this again more later. Morrison's playing fullback this round.
Yeah.
Is that what they're planning to do? Switch out Iron for Morrison, or is that just a temporary solution until they can get Barnes in?
I would.
We now know they're interested in Barnes. Same with the Eels. They have Kelly at fullback.
But Joey Kelly's came out and said that he's leaving at the end of the season, so I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. Which does that if he leaves, does that just pretty much leave them that they have to get Mark Iron?
I
And
mean,
they're forced into a pretty bad trade.
I mean, is it out of the question to see Levi Raymond club come to the club and maybe shift someone else to fullback? Maybe they'd look for another guy. I mean, Levi Raymond could even shift to fullback himself if they don't want to play him in the halves. I mean, it's an option.
I don't know. I don't think he would be a good fullback. That's my 2 cents.
Levi Raymond. I think I'm being a bit crazy.
I think Levi Raymond's too good in the halves. We'll talk about Levi Raymond in a second because there's some big news on him. But I think he's too good in the halves to not play in the halves. But I guess the Broncos do what they want anyway because we'll talk about that more later. Actually, that's such a perfect segue. Should we segue into the team list for this round?
I think. Did we touch on the Luke Short's the new captain for the Eels? Did we touch on that?
I think I mentioned it like a slight. I mentioned it. I
think that will be enough then. Okay, then that should be all that we have in the news in the SRL. I'll move on to the team list news. Let me get this up on my screen. Team list dramas. Here we are. Let's have some look at the team list this round.
I think we should start with the most controversial.
Yeah, all right.
The bloody Broncos. Oh my god. What have you done this time?
Yeah.
I thought I was meant to be the captain making shots. I'm sorry, Broncos. I don't mean to fashion you again, but 7 out of your first 7 tries, all of them were scored or set up by Levi Raymond, and you bench him.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
I'm all for bringing Carl. Did I pronounce that correctly? Because did he just get traded over, or what happened there?
What's this?
Jack Carl. Did he get? Yeah, he did get traded over.
He got traded over. Yeah. From Anthony Delaney.
He's definitely got some areas that he needs to improve, but.
Oh, yeah, actually, before we go on, I'll just say this since Liam doesn't check the chat. We've got our Mark Iron wanting to come on for an interview. Want to bring him on?
Yeah, we'll bring him on. I did actually tell him that we will. I forgot about that one. But yeah, let's bring him on.
We can actually have a bit of a talk, and we can actually have a bit of a talk about Bats the drum. He's involved in it at the moment.
Yeah, we can. Can one of you give him the role on the server because I do not have my Discord
Yeah.
open.
I told him to just join general and I'm going to drag him in.
Alright, just drag him
That's
in.
what I'll do. I'll tell him to do.
Yep.
Tell him to join general. Oh, there we go. We've brought him in.
Alright,
Mark Iron, how are you?
Hello.
You good?
How are you guys?
pretty
Yeah,
good.
we're
Yeah,
pretty
not
good.
too bad. Not too bad.
What's yeah? Where's your head at the moment? Like, what? This feels like it almost came out of nowhere, really. Like, what's happened?
I looked at the club at the, the little break that we had, and I thought last season I felt like I was bringing a lot to the club.
Yep.
But this season, I feel like I'm not the best man to lead at that fullback role at the Raiders anymore. I feel like we need someone that's a lot more capable, like to do stuff without the ball in it, and also with it.
Well, at the moment, the Raiders don't really have like, in my opinion, I don't think they really have a better replacement. So,
I'll
are you
stop you there because I genuinely believe they made a good decision this round, putting in Jacob Morrison at fullback.
Well,
I feel like he'll be the future of the club.
now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Morrison's usually a winger, right?
He's a center.
Center.
No, so yeah, it's 50-50. But do you think his playstyle is really going to segue well into a fullback role? Because in my opinion, he is a center and he's probably one of the best centers in the comp.
Is the best center.
Yeah, it's with hands down, he is an amazing player, but I'm not sure if the fullback role quite suits him. I just wanted to hear your take on that.
I feel like right now, he doesn't. I think that's pretty clear. He's in the top 1% of centers, but a bit more development, who knows, he could be up there in the fullback role with a lot of the best fullbacks in SRL.
Okay. Well, any clubs that have reached out at this point in time, or you just
Off the order up in Queensland, I've heard from one club.
So you've
gonna name
heard,
drop?
are we going to hear a name or?
I'll leave
You
that to
I
speculation.
have a question. With this whole Eli Barnes you trade saga, how much truth is there in that? Like, do you want to tell us the whole story behind that, or is it sort of just like something that could have happened that didn't happen? Is that like, do we got all the stuff?
It was just a bunch of wonders. Like, would this work out for both parties? But I feel like at the end of the day, my heart wouldn't feel right being in Parramatta.
Interesting.
Well, did Luke Short accept the trade, or was that just like, why didn't the trade happen? Was that sort of on your party, or was that on Luke Short's party?
It was more on my party, I'll be 100% honest.
Alright.
Alright.
Now, if you had to pick a club right now, like all clubs interested, fair trades, which club would you want to go to?
That's a really good question. 'Cause I feel like I'm gonna keep on trading up my options, but a homecoming might be on the table.
Homecoming. Now, for all the people that weren't here in season 1, please explain which one was your original club.
I'm thinking of going back to the Bronx, possibly.
Okay.
Bronx, yeah. I remember you were at the Bronx, yeah.
I actually forgot he was at the Broncos.
Yeah, me
I
too.
thought it was at the
a while
Rabbitohs.
ago.
I thought it was that. Is that what you asked him to remind everyone?
Yes.
He was sort of at the Rabbitohs.
I thought he was. I thought he was at the Rabbitohs season 1.
Yeah.
That's a
That
long.
was a different guy.
That was a different
guy that
It was a
retired.
bit
He
of.
was
It's
my
a bit of a
long-lost
long
cousin.
story, that one.
Yeah, he was my cousin.
Yeah, it's a bit of a
Okay.
long story on that one. Yeah. So you want to head back to the Broncos? Do you think that will happen in the off season, or do you think you'll try and get that sorted out within the next few weeks, before the trade window ends?
We'll have to see with that. I've been in close contact with. Well, whatever the fuck you say. I don't care. I'm gonna keep on working through all the options.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make any decisions until the club and I have a proper agreement with it.
Alright, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, look. Obviously, if you want to go to the Broncos, unfortunately, you would have to wait to season 4 because they've already used their trade.
Oh, the Broncos have used that. Who are they getting in? Oh,
Remember, it was
the Carl.
It was Jack Carl and Anthony Delaney.
Oh, so you won't be going. You can't. I guess you could. I mean, I guess you could go to a club and then, if you were open to it, you could go to a club and then. But this wouldn't really. I don't know if a club would be like open to trading you for like 2 or 3 rounds and then, unless
I
they're
think
a
it would have to be a
premiership.
club that was wanting to push for finals.
I think it would be a club that would be pushing for a premiership and chucking you in the centres.
Yeah. Like maybe like what a Manly say. I could genuinely see Manly maybe doing that. Bring them in for the centres.
Because they got a trade in their hands, but who would Manly be able to give up?
I love
Because I
so
still
many
think Mark
people in
Irons.
Manly.
Probably Josh Blackburn would go to the bench then, and then they chuck Mark Iron in the centres.
I don't think they'll be looking for.
But I don't know if would Manly have the capital to get rid of to get Iron. I mean, the capital.
They'd have to get rid of someone, but I'm not sure who they'd get rid of.
Because thinking about it, it wouldn't. I still don't think Mark Irons are cheap. I don't think you'd get him for cheap. I think you'd still have to pay at least a decent player.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So,
I think it's. Do we
it'd
move
be
back on
hard
to
for
teamless
them.
now? And then.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Mark, for joining us. Well, I'll just
Always good to have you back.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
Yep, see ya.
All right, now we can move back on to where we were actually at. Up to.
All right, let's go. So we were up to the Broncos, weren't we? With their saga.
Yeah.
With Levi Raymond. And did we hear from the Broncos? Well, the Broncos, we heard leaked from the Broncos captaincy group that
Look.
that apparently Levi Raymond is a part of the rotation, and they're rotating him, but he shouldn't be in the rotation. Let's be honest.
Right.
Yes, look, I'm doing my best Buzz Rothfield impersonation here. I actually heard from a reliable source that Levi Raymond is part of the. Apparently, he's part of the rotation on the Broncos.
Yeah, that's strange. That it blows my mind. The only way that I could
I don't know how. I don't know how you can.
That Raymond has asked to be in the rotation to allow Jack Carl to.
It doesn't make sense to me.
But-
If I was Raymond, I'd be looking for a way out.
Do they look
Yeah.
at the stats too much? Jesus. Maybe they're looking at the stats too much and are like, maybe they're looking at do they think Carl kicking is like elite?
Look, he has had to kick a lot of beaters, but I think I wasn't too sure on Carl, so before he left Penrith, I did speak to a few people around Penrith to see what they thought of him, and they said that although he was kicking a lot of beaters, the big thing was his positioning was pretty poor.
Yeah, and the thing is, Raymond is not shying away from kicking it either. He's fourth in the comp.
Nah.
He's
pretty
fourth
sure
in the
he's-
comp for kick meters. He's gotten 4 line breaks already, 5 assists, which means he's topping topping the assist board, and has a 100% goal kicking percentage. Now they've got to bring in a new kicker who hasn't been kicking consistently throughout the season. It's mind-boggling.
Oh, well, and another controversy that really started this, I think, was Levi Raymond got stripped of the goal kicking duties when he had 100% goal kicking, and he got stripped of it for Justin plays in favour of the captain.
I have a question, boys. Do you guys remember when Comish posted a thing about bit of a divide in the Broncos?
There's been a lot of divides, and I think that
Is it something to do with that? It was quite a while ago now. It was before the Origin series, but I remember him posting divide amongst the Broncos or something like that, and it was between a younger player and one of the veterans. I know Levi Raymond's not necessarily young, but I'm just saying, could it be something to do with that?
It would have. I don't think anything is. Levi Raymond wouldn't have been. I don't think Levi Raymond would have had a go at any of the younger players. I think he would have been having more of a go at the captaincy group and particularly in Justin plays for deciding to strip the goal kicking. I don't think, because why would he have a go at a rookie player for really doing nothing? The rookie player's done nothing. It's not even like they've stolen the goal kicking off him, because they're not the ones that are goal kicking.
Yeah. Another thing is, like a week or two ago, another thing came out from Comish talking about how Pete Veretto was reportedly unhappy with having to share the captaincy. Again, that could come down to another thing from plays, in which he's kind of unsettling this team. Now, I'm not saying that's what's actually happening, but from what we can see off the fields, out of the sheds, that's what it looks like to me.
It definitely looks like that, and I think another thing to know is Pete Veretto is a respected guy in the Broncos locker room. Was Justin Plays ever respected in that Broncos team? I don't know.
I don't look. Justin Plays
This is an interesting one.
Sorry.
No, go on. Sorry.
Justin Plays is a decent player. He's no slacker, but I think it would have been better to have just one captain and have that captain stay as Pete, because not only is Pete respected within the Broncos team, but he's respected throughout the whole SRL league. I don't think there's really anyone on this server who doesn't have a certain amount of respect for Pete and what he does for the game and what he does for the Broncos and how hard he works.
It's definitely
it's one of those things where I think that, like, I don't want people to get the idea in the future that the idea of co-captaincy is a bad thing. No. I genuinely think that co-captaincy is a good thing if it's with the two right captains. Exactly. I just think Justin Plays and Pete don't work together well.
No.
Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But I just think that maybe it would be better if maybe one of them captain and the other one vice.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you have two vice captains, you need them to be basically doing two things. Be hitting two marks. Sorry. They need to be well respected within the team. Like, they are the two people you go up to if you're having some trouble, or if you just want to talk. They need to be the first people that they think of. And they also need to be the people who are working hardest, in my opinion. They don't have to be the best players, but they need to be the people who are working their asses off day in, day out setting the example for the future teams. And I don't think the Broncos got it right with these two.
I think Pete's an example of. I mean, we probably shouldn't be going on with this, but yeah. I think. But in Lachlan, to your comment that vice captains, one of them's vice captain, one of them's captain. I still think that a lot of teams, and with my experience at the Bunnies, it's sort of not really like and I think Manly do it too. I think the vice captains are still got as much power as the captain. I think.
Yeah, that's what it's like at Penrith too. And I know we're coming last. We've got a good system going up. Like, before I release my team list, I always talk to my other guys first, see what they think. They can be my thoughts. I'll give them my thoughts, and then we'll come up with a team list.
Yeah.
They have a lot of power at Penrith too.
Yeah.
I think the good teams definitely implement like
Except for Penrith.
a collaborating they collaborate, and it's sort of like the vice captains aren't any less equal than the captain, which is really a good thing to say, which I don't know why it doesn't work at the Broncos. Maybe one of them's acting too dominant.
Yeah.
I think the problem is, right, and they both, and I think this goes back to your point about being dominant, right? I think they both feel like they should be the dominant one. It just like two dominants don't make it. It just doesn't work having two dominants. I think when you look at Penrith, when you look at Rabbit, I know I'm using Penrith. Penrith is a bad example because we aren't doing well. But just trust me when I say my team's a good example for this. All right. You know, I'll use Rabbit as an example.
Yeah.
I think when you look at Rabbitohs, right? Obviously, they all work together. Liam, who's your vice captain? Is it you, vice captain? Is there anyone else? Just you and Jai?
Well, it's Jai, and then there's Mendonca too.
Right. So, I think when you do it right, you give your thoughts, Manon will give his thoughts, and you guys will come to a team list together. Jai submits it. If Jai were to disagree with something though, he'd probably go with what he thinks, and would if it was really bad disagree, he'd just go with what he thinks, right? Would that be correct?
Yeah, it would be, but the captain definitely has the final say, yes.
That's the point. The captain in the end has the final say. At the Broncos, though, they both feel like they should have the final say. And if there's a disagreement, then it's just tough. It's like, what do you do?
Look,
it's another reason why I don't understand how the hell Levi Raymond's ended up still. It all comes back to that, and I don't know how that's happened.
Yeah. Look, I think we've talked about that.
Yeah, we have talked about this for a bit.
We've talked about this too long. We should go on to some of the other team lists.
Yeah, there was some other shocking team lists this week, I think.
I think we'll go up the list. So I guess the next one we have is the Raiders, which am I fine to go, or do you guys want to say some stuff first?
You go first.
I
can go first.
Alright, so we have had news come out that obviously I won't delve too much into it because it's already been dealt with. This isn't the main point I want to talk about. Cory Bell suspended. Obviously has to be selected on the bench this week. They needed to find a new centre.
Wait, what did Cory Bell do?
Just ignore it for now. We won't delve into it. It is something that happened though. I actually don't know what happened, but
I don't know what happened either. That's why I don't.
I just know that he is suspended for this round and cannot play. I don't want to delve into it. It's already been dealt with. But anyway, they needed to do centre for this round up the current team. I believe they moved Alex Chen to the wing position where Cory was. Why on earth have they decided to go with Rahul Kaval at centre?
Look,
I know. Okay, before I say this, I know Jack O'Neill has already told me that it's because there wasn't really any other options. Can't Sabith to Ua play second row?
Centre, yeah, you can. But
centre.
Yeah, you can.
I would have been going. Personally, I would have been going him there and chucking Kaval in this. I understand Kaval's probably done this selfless, and it's pretty cool that he's been that selfless because I wouldn't be able to be that selfless, but I just think that he's not a centre. He's too good to be in the centres.
Yeah. Wait. So Alex Chen, does he normally play in the centres?
I believe so, doesn't he? And Cory was usually on the wing.
Yeah, exactly.
In my opinion, I would have brought Sonny Tyre onto the wing.
You can't play him. I already talked to Jack O'Neill about this. He can't play on the wing. He's a 5'8" now.
Is he?
Because he's been inactive, yeah.
Oh yeah, he has. Oh yeah, we were talking about that. Oh yeah.
So he's inactive, which means that he couldn't change his position. Therefore, what happened was he didn't. So he can't change his position. Now he's stuck as a 5'8", and he's inactive. Can't really do too much with him. And the Raiders, he's basically just going to be kicked off the Raiders at the end of the
I
season.
would have liked, but I still would have put Sabbath to Ua in the centers and chucked Caval. I believe that actually might be the only thing they could do, but I still would have done that over chucking Caval in the centers. I
Maybe
understand
again-
again. I don't want to bash on this too much because again, at the end of the day, Caval is the captain. He made the decision to put himself in the center half and it's else to give himself left ball so more people can have more ball, which is fair enough. But yeah,
Yeah, then you have Mark Hines switching with Jacob.
we've already touched on this again. I think it's more a sign that Mark Iron's out the door, and it's time to give Jacob a bit of goal at fullback.
Yeah, I
See
do
what he
think it's
can do.
very.
I think it's fair enough.
I think it's more. I think he's. What type of fullback do you think it's going to be? I think it's going to be more like a Latrell Mitchell, sort of someone that can sort of. He's a bit. I think he's more of a Latrell Mitchell type fullback, but it's going to be interesting to see how he goes.
I actually
I
think
think-
I'm going to disagree with you. I don't know what it is, but I think he's going to be a bit like a Joey Manu. He may get his hands on the ball too much, but he's going to be a very good player at fullback.
Yeah,
I actually think he's going to be a bit like that.
I think especially for the first couple rounds of his fullback career, I think he'll look to get the ball a lot more. Because that's how he plays in the centres. He's always calling for the ball. He's a workhorse, and he especially he wants to make he'll want to make his point as a fullback. That's the first thing you want to look to do, and the way to do that is getting your hands on it more and try to look for the big plays.
Yeah, for sure.
Fair enough then. What other team list do we have to talk about?
Manly's exactly the same.
I think the rest of them are mostly normal from what I can tell.
Just look at it. Well, you had Joey Kelly moving to the fullback.
We'll talk about the Eels.
Yes, actually, that's probably a good one.
The Eels.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it was an interesting move.
They've moved. Was Luke Shaw playing lock last week?
Yeah, Luke Shaw's been playing lock.
I thought Attila Senderdag played lock last week.
No,
He's been playing second row all season.
I swear he's played a game in the lock.
I
I
swear
don't
Luke Shaw's
think
played the whole season at lock.
Alright, maybe yes then. Anyway, yeah, Eli Barnes and Joey Kelly. Well, Eli going to centers, and then Joey going to the wing.
It's a very
Their
odd.
halves haven't been amazing. Surely you would have moved Eli to the 5-back halves.
Yeah, I would have tried to strengthen up that halves when you what's Eli Barnes realistically gonna do at center with 5 or 6 touches of the ball in the game? He could be playmaking at 6, setting up for his. At least try it. At least try him at 6.
Yeah, I think I don't know how good he would be at 6, but I think it would be better than what's happening right now.
They're
I don't
definitely
think,
struggling. I don't know if they should be just they're too hesitant to try it because they're too scared to lose another game, and I think they're not gonna. I don't even think that they're gonna win too many more games. Like, why not try it this week when you could have a chance of winning against Manly? If it all goes to plan, you could have a better chance of winning against this Manly side. There's nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing to lose.
I think there's
Absolutely nothing. Them
I
playing,
think
there's absolutely
think
nothing to lose here when you're playing a side like Manly. You're not expected to win.
yeah, you're not. I know you're not expected to win, but at the same time, you don't want to dishearten your players. Like you're bringing a person who's normally a fullback, who's not used to having to really structure his game in any shape or form because he is that loose kind of fullback. And then you bring him against the best team onto an unknown position where he has probably a pretty high possibility of struggling. I think it's better if it was against.
No, I disagree. I
I
disagree.
think it would have been good to try it this week. You could try it, and even if he struggles a bit, give him a go enough next week. Give him 2 weeks.
Give him 2 weeks, exactly, and that's what I'd do. I think you'd at least give him 2 weeks. And the thing is with Eli Barnes at 6, I disagree with you, buddies, because I don't think that structure is really that big on him. I just think you get him to run the football and get back to his best. Just run your footy and have some fun. That's all you
Well,
need to do. Get him to run the footy.
the thing is, if you make your 5'8" just solely a running, not having any sort of structure or any sort of playing style playing structure to him, you put a lot of pressure on the halfback to kind of make up for lost ground, and especially in this league where the halves are what I don't want to say what makes a team, but you
I mean, look at.
I
Really,
don't.
look at. I'm not saying that he has to run the ball every play, but what I'm saying is, I don't think it'd be that bad if you just get him to run the footy a bit more, and maybe do a bit and get past that ball out to those wingers going short side. I think he'd be pro good at that. I think he'd excel.
I think it's a little bit of a big ask.
A little bit of a big ask for what Parramatta's halves are doing.
I think I agree with Liam here. I would have been chucking Eli in the halves. Like genuinely, like the Parramatta halves, they've been average. Like Butler and White both there season 1.
Butler was there since season 1 grand final, and White was drafted in the season 2 draft.
All right. Well, Butler, look, in my opinion, he's sort of getting a bit dry. Past couple of seasons hasn't really done much in season 1. White, well, I mean, I haven't really ever noticed him, but I just think that halves aren't really working, so why not? What's the harm? What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You lose another game?
You lose a game to a premiership side that you weren't expected to win anyway. I don't think there's any harm in trying it this week.
And who knows? If it's a good decision, maybe they get close, or maybe they even win.
If they won, it would be a masterclass from Luke Shaw. Could you think of Parramatta winning and Eli Barnes playing one of the best games we've seen from a harm? Luke Shaw would be.
Or
Could you imagine it? Like, I just think Eli Barnes is it's a masterstroke. Having Joey Kelly and him it's just like, it would be I reckon it would be really good having both of them in the spine.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Well, I think we should move on from that. Any other team we need to talk about? Or do we go on to the predictions for the round?
Is there anything else? I don't really think there is, eh? I mean, South's unchanged. I know Manly are unchanged. Did the Warriors brought in McCartney, but we didn't really think I don't think there's much wrong with it because their halves were inactive. They did move McGalley to hooker and they moved Corcoran to lock. Corcoran reportedly wants out. Not much else.
Yeah.
There's not too much else. And so we'll move on to the tips for a round. Alright, so let's move on to that. And we'll move on to the round 4 tips. What is the first game of the round, boys?
I'll quickly get it up for us.
I believe it's Warriors and it's Warriors and someone.
Is it Warriors? I know the South play Cowboys. Eels play
It's Warriors, Raiders.
Warriors, Raiders. That's it.
At Christchurch Stadium.
Wow, that's going to be huge for some of those New Zealand boys in New Zealand. I think it would be huge.
Actually, I believe actually each team that has 4 home games or 4 home games has one game at like a neutral venue. Oh, not a neutral venue, but like a different venue. For example, Panthers have, which actually I think is quite cool that they've done that. Panthers have one at Carrington Park. Obviously Warriors have one at Christchurch. Yeah,
Ooh,
it's actually
upset's-
quite cool.
Definitely, bro.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what's our prediction for this game?
Why did you go first?
I think it's going to be Raiders.
I'm gonna look. I think on paper the Raiders should win, but I just got a feeling. I'm gonna tip the Warriors. I think that John McCartney might have a good. I think this is the game where I think Chance Bunton's been one of the best players this round, but his team still hasn't been doing well, similar to Brody Kennedy. I think this is the game where Chance Bunton just absolutely decides to floor a team. Absolutely wrecks them. Warriors 1-12.
Why did you go?
Huh?
Oh, I did.
It's
Oh,
in
you
Raiders.
tipped. Oh, yeah, you tipped. Okay. Alright. I'll go. I actually think even though the Raiders probably have a better side, I think the Warriors' defense has been really damn good this season for most of the part, and they've been really good at completing high. The Raiders haven't really done that. And if the Warriors can just defend, I think that'll be all good. I think they have Chance Bunts, and the Raiders' defense hasn't been too good. If Chance Bunts can just step up a little bit, who knows? This could turn out to a little bit of a blowout. And maybe I'm gonna go. I think the Warriors 1-12. Warriors will just be
Alright,
too
that leaves
good.
up the next game. The Broncos versus the Panthers. I'll go last since I want to back my own team here, but I'll go last. You guys go first.
Why did you go first?
Broncos v Panthers. I think it'll be the Panthers because solely based on the fact that I don't know what the Broncos are doing at the moment. I think it was a very idiotic move to get rid of get rid of Raymond out of the starting position. So, and I think Delaney's move is probably a smart move for him, and I think it could turn out good for the Panthers.
Yeah, fair. Alright. For my tip for this game, I'm gonna go the Panthers. And something else we didn't touch on when we talked about the Broncos, we don't need to talk on this, but it's for too long. But something that I think is huge for the Broncos is Pete Redo is moving to the second row, which I think it's a bit of a shame for him because he's been so good at lock. I'm pretty sure he moved to second row, didn't he?
Yeah, he has moved to second row.
Yep. So
We
that's
forgot to mention it, but we forgot to mention because of all the talk about fucking. Oh, sorry, my bad. Shouldn't be swearing on here. But,
it's all good.
yeah, just bleep that. Bleep that out.
I
But
don't think I can.
but yeah, obviously, we've already talked about Levi Raymond. I should have just skipped over it. But yeah, Jack's playing a second lock. Gets his old club today, but I think it's a little dumb decision. I think Pete Veretto's a lot more. I think Veretto's a lot more scarier at lock.
Pete Veretto is the heart of the team. He tries his heart out, and I think it'll be a huge loss, especially with less ball. And
especially with his fullback ball playing skills.
Yeah,
you need him in the middle.
You need him there, and I don't know why they're playing him second row. And that will lead me to tipping the Panthers, and I actually will go Panthers 13+. I just think the Broncos aren't going to get anywhere close with some of these stupid decisions. Lachlan, what's your tip?
It's an interesting one. It's interesting. No, I'm joking. It's not very interesting. Panthers 13+. It's great to think that I'm this confident considering we're last.
Yeah.
But I think we should be the favourites because I think the Broncos have so much drama around, and I know people aren't going to really want to say this. We have everybody on our team upgrading. We will come good eventually. We just have to bide our time. That's all I'll say. Panthers 13+.
Okay. So the next game? What is the first one? Is it? I know Manly and Eels.
It is Broncos Eels.
Oh,
Not Broncos Eels. Sorry, Eels Manly. Sorry, Eels Manly.
It was Manly. Alright, but did you go first, or Lachlan?
I'll go because it's my team. I'll go.
Alright, you go last. Alright, Lachlan, you go first. Then.
I'll go first then. It's an interesting one. I think it's not very interesting. But this is an interesting one because I think if Joey Kelly can just put on a bit of magic, I could actually see. Funny enough, I could see it was putting on maybe a bit of an upset. But the Seagulls have been too good for me to tip against them so far. Mainly 13 plus.
So, as much as Joey Kelly, I think he'll be an amazing fullback. I just don't think there will be anything in it for the Eels to get it done. Maybe with Eli at 5'8", I would feel more confident tipping them, but yeah, I think Seagulls will be way too strong, 13 plus. And I mean, when you look at the Rabbitohs too, when the Rabbitohs played the Seagulls, they have some very good players on their team. They couldn't do a thing against that Manly defense. Like, it's going to be very hard for them to be beaten. What's your tip, Butters?
Yeah, Manly. Big surprise. I know. Yeah, I know. It's a real shocker, but look, we've been really strong. I think that the the Eels are in a bit of a hard place at the moment. I don't think they're playing their best footy, and I think to beat Manly, you need to be playing the best footy you've ever.
Or just get Manly off their game at least.
Yeah,
You got to defend
and
well.
I don't think this is point where Manly will be.
The thing is with Manly, they've got so many players that just dominate, and I mean the thing is that hurts like clubs like I know personally from the Rabbitohs, my personal experience is because the Rabbitohs aren't because I know some clubs have because Manly, for example, they have 17 active bodies. They'll have 17
Yeah.
players upgrade in a week.
Yeah, we do.
Where the
Yeah.
Rabbitohs have probably 11 to 12. Where that's
You guys
sort
only
of
have 11 to 12.
Rabbitohs, that's Rabbitohs. But we only
Really?
have about
Bro, we have 17 who will come in last. Upgrades don't mean. Yeah.
I mean
I was going to
Manly,
say something, but I can't say it. Upgrades don't mean nothing. We have 17 players upgrade. We had 16 until we got rid of our
but
one
Manly,
inactive player.
but to be fair though, Manly I think it's a compliment to Matt Harris, but he just knows how to upgrade and like how his team should upgrade.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's why I think they're so far ahead in this comp. That's with those 17 active bodies, they can actually exceed from it, and it's also their forward pack's so good that it's just so you need to complete if you want to beat Manly, you have to complete high, and basically just the only way you can win is complete high and not and force some errors to score. You need to be able to force errors to score and complete very, very high.
Yeah, touching on the active 17 actives, I think it's also what Matty Harris and Kane have been trying to instill in this Manly side. It's a real culture, and everyone wants to upgrade. No one feels like it's some sort of
Cool.
chore to try to get on every week. Every time that someone does good in a game, you have Matty or Kane specifically call them out and show them what show the club what they're doing right, and it's a really good club. We're in such a lucky position to have Kane and Matty and all these talented talented players setting the club in the right direction.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to the last game. I'll go last in this game.
I guess I'll go first again. Cowboys Rabbitohs. Look, on paper, Rabbitohs should win. But with that said, I just have a feeling. This is another game that I just have a feeling.
Just have a feel.
Cowboys don't only just go over us. And it would give me a hell of a lot confident going into the next week's game against the Rabbitohs if the Cowboys were to beat them this week. So I'm going to go Cowboys 1 to 12.
Interesting. Well, Cowboys haven't really changed anything up, have they?
Nah.
I think it will be tough for them to win. I think that despite the Rabbitohs, was it round 3 where Manly and the Rabbitohs first?
It was Manly, yeah, it was. And
It's been a while now.
it's been a while, definitely.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think that Manly had a long time to really, they had a sorry, I don't want to say reality check, but they understand how the game. Oh, sorry, how good they're going to need to be every week if they're minor premiership contenders. Because that game against Manly, it wasn't the Rabbitohs that we've been seeing all season, and I think they had a little bit of time to kind of sit on that and work on the small flaws that they have in the team. So I think they're going to come out after the break one of the strongest teams.
I mean, as you say that though, the score was 22-10, and considering that's Manly versus. Weren't some of the scores that the teams were putting up, like, I think, wasn't the round 1 against the Broncos, they put up 36, and I think the Broncos scored 6 or 12?
12.
And 12, 36 to 12, and then and then in round 2, how much did Penrith get beat by?
I think it was 30-6, I want to say. Or might have been 24-6 or something.
So
I know we scored 6 points and they scored 24 or 30.
Yeah, so they got closer, and I think the Rabbitohs, the only thing that they could really, and there was some controversial calls, don't get me wrong, but the Rabbitohs should have stopped some of them. There were some calls that were a bit controversial, didn't go the Rabbitohs' way, but at the end of the day, they should have been better. I think that they were outclassed, and I think now is the real time that they'll stand back up. But as you go.
Yeah, I think the games you're also pointing out was against bottom 4 teams, which also means that the scorelines, no offense, Lachlan, are going to be a lot more larger in terms of the margins.
So we actually hang on with Manly for quite a while. I think it was only like 12-0 at half time.
Yeah, you guys played some really good footy. That was probably one of your best games.
Listen, that Cowboys game was best game. I'm still salty off that Cowboys game. Anyway, continue.
I'm just trying to make the point that that the Rabbitohs weren't at their best against Manly, and I think that they have really worked on that over the off season and not over the off season, over the rep break. And I think they're going to come out a much stronger team and a really big contender. So I think they're going to wipe the floor with the Cowboys.
I mean, look, is this really a big understatement though? The Rabbitohs had about the players that went into rep camp. Look at State of Origin. Look at how well they did. I mean, you got Isaac Edwards, who was arguably the best player in the series. He's going to come back a better player. And Isaac Edwards was playing amazing footy. Amazing. And now he's coming back. Jesus, It's scary.
And something that I just realized now, the Cowboys haven't had any really big challenges. They had the Raiders first round, but other than that, they versed the bottom 2 teams in rounds 2 and 3, which is going to help.
In round 2?
They versed the Eels.
No, they versed the Broncos actually, and they lost that game.
Sorry, Broncos. They lost that game.
I don't know how they're doing so good.
Yeah, like versing. No offense again, Lachlan, but versing the Panthers is a little bit of a almost a free win. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
You should be. Don't worry. We'll beat you in the grand final this year.
If you even make it that far.
It's a long season. 4 rounds left still.
There's 4 more rounds.
4 weeks left. If we win all 4 games, we're in the finals.
Well, I
To be
mean,
fair, actually,
teams,
we lost.
you
We
went
actually
4
lost
and
with that.
3 both of the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, no, we came 5th. We're going for the trifecta. We're gonna get 5th this season. I think actually pre-season, I think I said to Liam, I think we could get 5th again. That's what I said to Liam pre-season, which I still think we're on track to do that because I think we have the 3 easiest teams in the last 4 rounds, other than us.
Yeah, the last 4 rounds, the Rabbitohs real easy. We beat them really easily.
That
I'm
is.
sorry.
Oh,
So, what's your tips?
obviously, I'm gonna go the Rabbitohs.
Cowboy. Oh no, he's going to Cowboys. Up the
I'm going
Cowboys.
Rabbitohs. I'm going and I've got a special. I'm going Isaac Edwards to get 300 kick meters and a try assist.
Jeez. Not asking
Yeah,
much.
same. I'm gonna get 400 kick meters this weekend.
Oh, yep, Lachlan Martin too. I'll bet that on my multi.
Yeah, 400 kick meters. 2 try assists, the hat trick.
So we have 5 try involvements. All right, yeah, come on, multi. In real seriousness. Okay, well, that will wrap up the episode there. Thank you all for coming on to watch tonight. And we'll see you all next week when we will see what happened in round 4.